My only pushback overall would be that I would say Dwight Howard is top 83, not
70,
top 75.
top 70, bro. We
I
start.
give
Okay,
him.
It's a lot of great players throughout the annals
Yeah,
of
I
the
can't put him
NBA.
over
It's
Jokic. I can't put
hard
him over
to.
Jokic.
Okay, no, don't put him over Jokic. But when you start naming your top centers of all time, when you get to like number 8 or number 9, it's going to start to get shaky, and you're going to have to put Dwight Howard in there somewhere. I promise you.
He's going to be
a lot of great centers.
Start naming your centers right now.
They had Moses Malone already.
Right. I think Dwight will hit that top 10. I think he'll be at number 10 if you really think about it.
So humor me. Let's just start naming them. Kareem
I think he might have to
Abdul-Jabbar.
be in the top
10. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Let's go Wilt Chamberlain. Let's go Bill Russell. Let's go Shaquille O'Neal. Let's go Moses Malone. Let's go Patrick Ewing, David Robinson,
Hakeem Olajuwon.
Which Olajuwon really is much higher than that. This is no order. Kareem might be number 1. Olajuwon may be the most skilled center of all time, followed by Shaq. You know what I'm saying? So we got Olajuwon, Robinson, Ewing in that era. And then number 9, let's go Jokic. I don't know yet, but let's go.
Jokic is in there. I say Jokic is in there.
Because he's doing some video game number type shit, even though I think the game has they changed the rules in such a way where a lot of these numbers are inflated, but that's another topic.
But you are missing the name too, Kareem. You are missing somebody.
Who's the name I mentioned? Missing.
Tim Duncan.
Okay, as a center?
He's forward.
Tim Duncan was him. He did play center.
Okay. See, I consider Tim Duncan a center. I think that they played him at power forward because he got more credit at the power forward position historically.
Right. And most people will argue he might be the greatest power forward of all time.
Yeah, but if you put Tim Duncan at center, then what you just said, he comes in at like number 10. Because maybe 7 or 8. Maybe if you put him over Moses Malone, maybe if you don't want to, you know what I'm saying? Because he's won 5 championships.
He's up there.
But he's not as high on the center list as he is on the power forward list. But okay, so even if I put Tim Duncan, if I don't put Tim Duncan in the top 10 centers, then Dwight Howard's got to go there. If I do add Tim Duncan, then Dwight Howard's going to be number 11.
What about Alonzo Mourning?
He's not as good as Dwight Howard, bro.
You don't think so? As a defensive center?
No. Dwight Howard was. How many defensive player of years does Alonzo Mourning have?
I gotta check that. I gotta check that one out.
Alonzo Mourning.
I mean, even Ben Wallace dominated for stretch similar to Dwight Howard
center. The Ben Wallace was dope. I thought Dwight Howard had a little more athleticism. Probably could do a little bit more on offense than Ben Wallace. So Dwight Howard scored 22, 24 a game. 22, 24.
I mean, what
so Alonzo wasn't the man in the 90s?
Do you want to argue Bill Walton?
Yeah, what he did Bill Walton, a short span, but Bill Walton is a top 75 player.
He should be because of what he did in college
Dwight Howard
at UCLA.
He's top 75.
But Bill Walton gets a lot of credit for what he did in that story franchise.
I mean, are we just completely leaving George Mikan out of it? I mean, I know that's before our time, but
I mean, George Mikan should get credit for what he did. He won 5 straight championships, I think, with the Minneapolis Lakers. But at that point, are we getting to like, you know, is this the greatest list? Is it who's better than who, or is it just political? I think the Dwight Howard was
your era.
Okay, I'll give you that. But I think the Dwight Howard is getting a bad rap for maybe some political issue, or maybe he pissed someone off in the upper echelon of NBA circles, because he should still be in the NBA right now. Why is he not in the NBA?
Where does Bill Laimbeer land?
Bill Laimbeer shouldn't rank. He was great. He was a very good basketball player, and he taught Dennis Rodman everything he knows. But from a talent standpoint, I don't think he will measure up against the names that we just mentioned. But at head-to-head, he might outplay some of those guys. You just never know.
And he might foul the shit out of a lot of them.
Yeah. You're gonna foul them all very hard. And he was the progenitor of the stretch center, because it was Bill Laimbeer. And really, those Detroit Pistons teams that introduced small ball with the 3-guard lineup of Isaiah Thomas, Joe Dumars, and Vinnie Johnson. It was Dennis Rodman's versatility, being able to defend almost every position. He played against Magic, Bird, and Michael, defending them fairly well. And then Bill Laimbeer was stretching the floor, shooting 3-pointers at the center position when not many people were doing it in that era. So he gets credit, but Dwight Howard's got to be somewhere in there, but I do think he should crack the top 75, because when you talk about the 2000s in basketball, you start to name centers, Dwight Howard's at the top of that list.
Well, when you say we just demonstrated that he might not be in the top 10. And so if you're saying out of the 75 players ever, at least 10 of them are centers, that leaves 65 slots. You're going to have at least 15 or so guards and point guards, probably up to 20. You're going to have at least 10 to 15 small forwards.
And it still should be a slot for Dwight Howard and all that shit you just said.
You're still going to have at least 10 to 15 forwards, power forwards.
I'll give Dwight Howard
at least like 80, maybe 5 more slots left. I don't know if he
and one of them shouldn't belong to Dwight Howard.
Number 80.
Not if Connie Hawkins has a spot. Not if George Irvin has a spot. Not there's so many great players. Oscar Roberts is going to have a spot. George Gervin, I mean.
Isn't he a top 75
so many
player?
Players. Dennis, the Iceman? Absolutely.
Yeah, he should be.
The Iceman is top 75. So I'm saying there's so many slots that are already guaranteed. You know what I'm saying? And when we say some of these names that are automatics, they're probably like ranked 61 through 52. Like they're not even the top 30. So it's like, where does this extra magic?
They're trying to pay homage to people that were legendary in different eras. But I think that you have to pay some homage to Dwight Howard for what he did. You start to look at the numbers, the all-time blocks, what he did on the offensive and defensive boards, and then just his position defense, which just doesn't come up in stats. His position defense and ability to cover ground. I don't think he was as good as Akeem Olajuwon on the defensive end or anything like that.
Is Alonzo Mourning a top 75 player?
No, and he shouldn't be.
Why not?
Because he wasn't as good.
Oh,
what did Alonzo Mourning? Alonzo Mourning had a few good years. He was a 20-10 guy early on.
Right.
But by the time Alonzo Mourning, he could never lift his team into the NBA Finals. He couldn't do that. Alonzo Mourning, when he won a championship, he was brought back to back up Shaquille O'Neal in 05 and 06.
Is Larry
but
Johnson
he was also a good
No, Larry Johnson's not top 75. But why should he be? We love Grandmama, but he didn't do anything that warranted him being on the top 75.
I feel like you're underestimating Alonzo Mourning, my friend.
I'm not. He was an undersized center. He was very good in the 90s, I felt, but I don't feel like he was never as good as the top 3 or 4 centers from that time.
You're saying players like that on top 75, then maybe Dwight Howard does sneak in, perhaps. But I don't know. If you really look at the list all the way from top to bottom, it may be hard to find somewhere.
I feel like he's got to slip in there somehow. Pause. For what I heard.
You said a lot of things that were positive during the sports ball discussion.
One thing I remember like a few years ago, someone came out and exposed Dwight Howard and called him a 6'11" bottom, and I died and came back to life.
I mean, that reminds me.
Maybe he shouldn't be in the top 75.
Is Chris?
No comment.